Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing not only an influential diplomatic, but also a man with a long experience in the field of international relations. His name is Jorge Cardenas Robles, and he was born in a country today known as the plurinational state of Bolivia. His career is as varied as interesting. So correct me if I'm wrong, but His Excellency studied engineering at the Universidad Mayor de Sant Andrés and an MBA in Sustainable Development and Tourism. From 2006 until 2012, he worked as a professor for the Universidad Católica São Paulo, and in 2012 he was assigned, for the first time, the position of the Ambassador of Bolivia to India. This has represented the beginning of an improvement in the economic and cultural relations between the two countries. Finally, since April 2016, His Excellency, the Ambassador Jorge Cardenas Robles, works for the Ministry of External Affairs of Bolivia as the Ambassador of Bolivia to Germany. So, first of all, thank you very much for considering us this interview. And how are you?
Fine, happy to be in Germany, a country that I have connections since I was young. My father put me at the German school because he thought Germans were different and more accurate in terms of studies. In the chances you had, I was global over 30 years ago when they decided by education. They sent me then to learn English, so I was global, years back, having able to speak English, German, Portuguese, and our native language Quechua, plus Spanish, of course.
So, as you have recently been assigned with the role of Ambassador of Bolivia to Germany, what would you say are your main goals as a diplomat? What improvements do you want to do between the two countries?
The first and main one is we have settled all the social and political steps on the country the last 10 years. Now we need development, now we need technology, now we need to improve our educational level in the different fields. So that are the main topics. The bioceanic train is one of our main purposes. That means Bolivia wants to connect Brazil, the Atlantic, through our country to the Pacific. Why? The main markets are on the Pacific. 2/3 of the population are Asia. Who the world wants is not only China and India and the region, but it's their market. Therefore, we are the largest supplier as Latin America. And over there, I don't play only the Bolivian role. I play the regional role. To give you an example, Bolivia has 10 million people and 1.1 million square kilometers of land. India, 3 times larger, 3.3 million square kilometers of land, 125 times more of people. So we need each other. Brazil, in our northwestern side, has the largest production of soya, beans, oil, and all its derivatives, and cattle. Largest cattle of the world is now Mato Grosso, Norte, Sur, over 60 million cows are over there. So it's strategic, it's market, it is closer to go through Bolivia, 1,000 kilometers less, than to the Pacific, to these other markets. That's one of the main reasons. But we don't play that alone. We play that together with Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, and we also pull Paraguay and Uruguay and part of Argentina into this big business. That's our main thing. Second thing, energy. We are blessed to have land with whatever you need, we have. Right now, 35 of our energy is hydroelectric because we have the Andes, so you have drops of 6,000 down to 1,000 in less than 5 kilometers. All the water, humidity, the Amazon is there, is there. We have been at the equatorial line, huge radiation of sun at altitude, no clouds. 90% of our time there's full sunshine. On the western side, wind. On the Amazon, biomassa. So we have all the things we want to be an energetic hub. The example, the CEO of Siemens was just signing 3 contracts with Bolivia last week. Over $1,000 million. We are buying the technology. We are not asking for anything. You know? We need top engineers. The CEO was there with my president. That's an example. The other important thing would be the dual education. That Germany has the lowest percentage of working unemployment and the highest occupation of young people due to dual education. Now what we have proposed as government is form a pilot program to lead education in our state and mix companies to develop. And of course, Germany will support us a lot with this field. Technology also, you know, technology that Germany is the #1 in the world is surely highly welcome. We want partners, we don't want bosses. That's the main difference.
It seems to me like you're taking best of Germany and learning from it and taking it to Bolivia, isn't it?
Yes, well, you know, we are on the stage now that we need development. We need to improve the added value there. Before, we were selling our country. Come buy land, come buy things, no more. We don't want to sell anything. If you want, welcome, be our partners. So that's the difference, you know. That's the main difference in attitude and in philosophy. That, you know, we say we are, of course, social oriented country with these principles, you know, people to people, culture is valuable and all that.
Yes, talking about culture. When you had the opportunity of being the first ambassador of Bolivia to India, in what way was this role more or less challenging than your current role as an ambassador to Germany?
Well, in India, I feel one of them.
Oh,
culturally.
okay.
If I wouldn't speak, I could even pass as Indian. You know, when I speak, they got me. But the main thing is we have a lot of similarities. A political thing that it's tough to say. Probably India is one of the most colonial countries in the world yet, while we have break that ties. And I say the internal colonialism is the worst, the ones that are happening in each country. And us, through our process of change, we had the chance to change it, you know, to put we call social inclusion, to invest a lot down on the bottom of the pyramid to have a different country. Therefore, the cultural similarities there were good. On the other hand, you know, I already was explaining my background with the German influence on my country, because there was a lot, you know. And yeah, I feel very comfortable here. I speak the language as well. So, and I have many friends. I've been in Germany over 20 times in the past. So, never leaving. This will be the first time leaving. But I've been involved a lot with the German and the European community in general.
Okay. Also, having studied tourism may have made it easier for you, the role as an ambassador.
Yeah, well, more than tourism, right now we are in a world of commerce, of business. Yes. But we always say, you know, ours is a different diplomacy. We say the diplomacy of the people. And the diplomacy of the people has other tools. What have we put in the agenda? You know, indigenous rights. So important, you know. I mean, owners of our land were nothing. You know, now not only my president is indigenous, my minister of externals is indigenous. We have a whole set of our people on power at the local, at the regional, at the national level. You know, same with women. I was telling you, 51% of our Congress are women. One of the highest in the world. None in Europe has, for you to know. You know, so that we have put as an agenda. So it's not theory, it's not that our things are on the paper, no. Are on actual plans, and we are moving towards that.
It's amazing because as Bolivia has 36 different nationalities, yes? Is it true?
Yes.
Do you think that has influenced you in your conception of culture?
Yes, because before it was denied, now it's a value that we are recuperating step by step. By learning the language, mandatory now, by recuperating our traditions, living well in harmony with Mother Nature. In Spanish, vivir bien en armonía con la Pachamama or Madre Tierra. Such a great value, which means our traditions, all our spiritual way of being. If you analyze what the Latin world has put into the world agenda, in happiness, salsa, merengue, tango, bachata, what India has put, yoga, Ayurveda. So, one of the most valuable things of happiness of all of us now, also in the Western world, comes from us. That's the message. Let's go back to the roots. Let's go back where we are part of a history, where we are part of a value that really respects its things. And over there comes harmony with Mother Nature. Climate change now is our main problem. It's destroying the world. And the big countries have advanced some, but they're not moving faster. Probably 2030 will be too late. Time will tell. But us, on the way we live, we have that unbalance.
Yeah. And when you were talking about sharing your culture to the exterior, or also the example of India, would you consider this cultural diplomacy?
Yes, and we say more than culture, we say people to people. So for us it's not only governments the things, in our government the movimientos sociales means the indigenous, the workers, the cultures are part of our government, and we take them now to the world, to explain, to fight at their level what they need. It's not my role as politician to play the role. Of course I know what's going on the things, but let them play their role. Let them put this agenda on the world. That's what my president has done. First time last year was the meeting of the indigenous of the world. The owners of the land were on nothing. You can have the examples in Canada, US, wherever, or even in Latin America, in many countries. Well, us, having the lack of have over 60% of our population local indigenous, the highest percentage in Latin America, Guatemala is at such a level. That's important to highlight. We are having the diplomacy of the people at the world's agenda, where we have put water, energy, forestry are not business, are from its people and its governments. So we're fighting the green economy based on this simple principle, but the simple principle, harmony with the Mother Nature, gives you lots of tools to go deeper. And now we are a leading country in the world with the technical things adding into these issues.
Would you say that this cultural diplomacy or this exchange of culture can help to decrease the difference between countries?
Yes, it's one of the tools where interests are not in between, and that's the main difference. Whenever you break the ties of corporations and these things dealing and talking about us, from sure will be the best option, because over there the values are real, and the interests are different. They are not monetary interests. They are not interests of corporations. They are interests of our people, of our societies. And of course over there, the level is horizontal. Things move easier.
Yeah. So could it also prevent conflict in some way? Knowing more
yes, why, all the problems that you're having with immigration in Europe the last years, who has created all that problems there?
I can say.
Other interests, and that's the message. Whenever you stop that, whenever you value more the cultural things, whenever you do more this diplomacy of people, of course the aim will be different, but not money, not value. So spiritual and cultural and other topics to analyze.
And in which way Evo Morales has made a real impact, has made this happen?
Well, it's the first indigenous on power, and that's the message.
Yeah.
The message, it's possible. and the message is to have, his, in the case of our country, his leadership to move further with the principles we fight for.
Yeah. So, well, Bolivia is a nation with a long history and full of beautiful scenarios. However, it's more than just a tourist destination, as you've said. Bolivia has worked hard to develop an academic research center which aims to provide opportunities for young German students to discover Bolivia through exchange programs. What do you think about this initiative?
Well, the main thing, which goes to the basic, simple things, the traditional medicine. Traditional medicine. Right now, the main problem of the world is spiritual, loneliness, or you have problems on values on us that can be cured through different tools, and one of them are these things we practice in our country. I will give you another example: community involvement into valuing culture and into being a product. In this case, touristic. You go and live with communities. You go to learn how their principles, how their basic life is. So you have to break your chain of only technology, high education, and all things. Let's learn other things. Let's do practice other ways of living. It's not that only Western nice is the main tool to live. Let's learn other options, and that are one of our steps. It's not only the scenario, the beautiful landscapes and cultures that you will see, but it's these other assets that are important into life. Yeah. And we surely value that, and we surely are happy to be proud to join these things, which is living well, I mean, vivir bien. Yeah.
I find very interesting about traditional medicine. Yeah, how Western countries we have this conception about what's medicine and how this works. Do you feel that it's same in Latin America? Like, do you think that in Latin America you have more an open view of what medicine is?
Not all Latin America. Latin America itself it has different values, but in part where culture is important and where traditions are important, of course, yes. You'll have Cuba with all its Santeria, you have Brazil with all this, African or Amazon and legacy hugely developed. So welcome that, let's put that into the capoeira and other things that are so, relaxing and all the things parallel with the modern medicine. There are the things that modern medicine will solve. Welcome. It's not that A or B are used as a must. They are complementary. Ones are good for one things and others are good for others. And that's the message, Is use in each case which one plays the best tool.
Right. And on the other hand, I was wondering how you, as an ambassador, can help to promote some of the Bolivian culture.
Well, in my first week, I have a guitar player, at Cervantes Institute, playing how to cuecas para no bailar. Cueca is the traditional music of Bolivia, and in the Festival of Culture, 150 Bolivians last Sunday in Berlin were entrancing. That's the new message of Bolivia. And if you were in ITB Berlin in the Reisemesse, the past March, a beautiful pavilion done by our government. So it's different, the concept is different. We are valuing a lot all these important tools to show the world what we have, and welcome, because, again, globalization is a reality, but let's respect the details of each of us, and that's the thing, we don't want to be all the same, but let's value what each place has on its own and enter and discover and explore it more.
That's very nice. And as an ambassador too, what advice, or more than as an ambassador, you have a lot of experience, and what I would like to know, what advice would you give to young people that want to start, or want to enter in the diplomatic world?
First of all, travel a lot, learn a lot about the others. And that for me is the best thing, that opens your mind, that makes you be a different person, valuing each one, I mean, I love the tapas in Madrid, that's a top thing, that I don't see it elsewhere. Of course you like it. You go to Soho in London, and see Cats, Phantom of the Opera, or a Brazilian soap opera, or ABBA, or We Will Rock You of Queen, that's war legacy now, or you can have what we had last Sunday, the culture, the Carnival of the Cultures, where the world is showing in Berlin its own tastes, you could have Colombian, it's, African, Indian touch. And I am a lot into that, we have to share each other, we have to respect each other, and we have to learn more of each other. And Bolivia, of course, being the most indigenous and a country that due to its geography hasn't changed much, because if you hear my Spanish, it's the old Spanish. I still pronounce the S, the R, and when I'm in Spain, the old people, they laugh, you are like from Leon or whatever,
Yes.
and I was saying, we didn't have big mixes, of course with our local cultures, but with foreign. That's the treasure of Bolivia, that its geography has kept it more pristine, for good and bad, So I highlight that things. I was able to see that in Nepal, in places of India that are amazing, and it's not comparing, it's sharing. Let's all enjoy the beauties of each area with its own touch, with its own culture. And that's what the young people need to learn. That's what they need to learn in order to have an open perspective, to push harder later when we play other roles, another diplomacy. In my case, is the diplomacy of the people. I love that phrase, because I highlight, of course I do all the political things that I need to do through government, but we move on the bottom better, in universities, in society, with social movements, where we are having the real touch, what the people believe and think, which is different with what politicians could do and act to.
It was a really nice interview. I'm very glad we could do it. So thank you very much. Would you like to add something else?
Well, I would love to say that Bolivia is waiting, for people to come. We need a lot of cross exchange. We need a lot of interaction with, in this case, Germany, and as representing, I see Europe here, we need each other to interact more. Welcome to Bolivia. It's a country that is having big steps of change, and we would love to show what we are doing and to learn other perspectives and views of others that will help us improve better. Thank you.
Thank
Gracias.
you so much. Muchas gracias. And thank you for being